Have you ever been at a family dinner where one single sentence rips open old wounds you thought were healed? Where the air feels thick with unspoken truths, and your heart starts pounding before anyone even raises their voice? That's exactly what happened to me that rainy evening in our cramped living room. I was sitting there, squeezed onto the edge of the old couch, the one with the faded floral pattern that Mom refuses to replace because it reminds her of better days. My coffee mug was warm in my hands, but inside I was freezing, numb from a long day at the job that barely paid the bills. The family was all there. Mom, Dad, my younger sister Lisa, and me. Elena. We don't do these meetings often anymore. Life pulls everyone in different directions. Dad's retired now, tinkering with his model trains in the garage to escape the silence. Mum's still working part-time at the library, her eyes tired but sharp. Lisa's the golden child, the one who always lands on her feet. And me? I'm the one holding it all together, or at least trying to. Mum cleared her throat, her silver bracelet jingling softly against her teacup. She had that proud smile on her face, the kind that lights up her whole world. Everyone, I have some wonderful news, she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. She glanced at Lisa, who sat there all poised and perfect, her manicured nails tapping lightly on her phone. Your sister just bought a luxury apartment downtown. Can you believe it? 2 bedrooms, a balcony with a view of the river, marble countertops. Everything. She's really made it, Lisa. The room went still. Dad nodded approvingly, muttering something about hard work paying off. Lisa beamed, soaking it in like she deserved every drop of that praise. And me? I felt it hit like a punch to the gut. Not jealousy. No, it was deeper than that. It was the sting of all those years I'd poured into this family, the sacrifices no one seemed to remember. My mouth went dry, but I forced a smile, because that's what I do. I smile through the hurt, but inside... inside something cracked. What do you think, Elena? Mom turned to me, her eyes expectant. Isn't it amazing? Your sister's finally got her dream place. I set my mug down slowly, the steam curling up like ghosts from the past. My voice came out steady, but laced with an edge I couldn't hide. Yeah, Mom, it's something. Tell me, Lisa, how exactly did you pull that off? Last I checked, your job at the marketing firm wasn't exactly raining money. Lisa's smile faltered for a split second, but she recovered quick, flipping her hair like it was nothing. Oh, smart investments, a little luck. And honestly, Elena, maybe if you stopped playing it so safe, you'd get there too. The words hung in the air, sharp as knives. Dad chuckled awkwardly, trying to lighten the mood. Mom shot me a look, like I was the one being difficult. But I saw it then, clear as day, the favoritism that had poisoned our family for years. Lisa, always the star. Me, always the shadow. And that apartment? It wasn't just bricks and glass. It was a symbol of everything she'd taken from me without a second thought. As the conversation shifted to baby pictures and wedding plans, Lisa's, of course, because why not rub it in? I excused myself to the kitchen. Leaning against the sink, staring out at the rain-slicked window, I whispered to myself, this ends now. Little did they know, my reply that night wasn't just words. It was the spark that would light the fire of everything to come. But to understand why, you have to go back. Way back to the beginning of it all. When Lisa and I were inseparable. Or so I thought. Picture this. A small town on the edge of the city, where summers smelled like fresh cut grass and barbecues, and winters wrapped the world in a blanket of quiet snow. That's where Lisa and I grew up. In a cozy 2-story house with a swing set in the backyard that creaked like it was telling stories. I was the big sister, 2 years older, always the protector. Lisa was the spark, the one with the wild curls and infectious laugh that could melt anyone's heart. We were thick as thieves back then. Shared secrets under the covers with a flashlight, dreamed big dreams about escaping our little world. I remember the day it all started feeling off. We were teenagers, maybe 16 and 14. Mom and Dad were struggling. Dad's factory job had layoffs, Mom picking up extra shifts. Money was tight, dinners were simple. But Lisa and I, we had each other. We'd sit on the porch steps, plotting our futures. I'm going to be a doctor, I'd say, flipping through my biology books, the ones I'd borrowed from the school library. Save lives, make a difference. Lisa would roll her eyes, but with that grin. Boring, Elena. I'm going to be famous. An actress or a model. Travel the world, live in a penthouse overlooking the ocean. I'd laugh, ruffle her hair. As long as you're happy, kiddo, and hey, if you make it big, you can buy us both a ticket out of here. She promised she would. Pinky swears and all. Those were the days when family meant everything. Unbreakable bonds, right? Wrong. Life has a way of testing those bonds until they snap. High school flew by in a blur for me. Straight A's, part-time job at the local diner to help with bills. I was the responsible one. The one who stayed late studying while Lisa snuck out to parties. But I covered for her. Always. Mum, Lisa's at a study group, I'd lie. My stomach twisting because I knew she was out chasing boys and dreams that felt too big for our town. And Lisa? She leaned on me hard. You're the smart one, Elena. You'll figure it out for both of us. College came next. I got a partial scholarship to State University, nursing program, because helping people felt like my calling. Lisa, though? She wanted the city lights, so she applied to art school in the heart of downtown. Tuition was steep, way beyond what our parents could swing. That's when the conversation started. Late night calls from her dorm, voice cracking. Elena, I can't do this. It's too expensive. What if I fail? My heart broke for her. She was my little sister. How could I let her dreams die? So I did what any big sister would. I took out loans, not just for me, but for her too. Signed my name on the dotted line for co-signer fees, worked double shifts during breaks to cover the extras. We've got this, I'd tell her. Family sticks together. She hugged me tight over video chat, tears in her eyes. I owe you everything, Elena. When I make it, we'll celebrate. You and me, sisters forever. But promises are fragile things, aren't they? As the years ticked by, Lisa's calls grew shorter. Her posts on social media exploded. Glamorous parties, new friends in designer clothes. Me? I was buried in textbooks and night shifts at the hospital, my own dreams on hold. I'd see her stories, living my best life. #blessed. And in the comments, always that one from her, tagging Mom and Dad, but never me. Like I was the footnote in her success story. Still, I pushed it down, ignored the little jealous pangs. Until graduation day for her. I drove 3 hours, skipped a shift, showed up with flowers and a card I'd saved for months to buy. The ceremony was magical. Lisa on stage, diploma in hand, beaming under the lights. Afterward, family photos, hugs all around, but when I pulled her aside for a moment, she waved me off. Elena, not now. My agent's here. Big opportunity. And just like that, she vanished into a crowd of strangers, leaving me standing there with wilting roses in my hand. That night, driving home alone, tears blurring the highway lights, I told myself it was fine. Sisters drift. But deep down, I wondered, when had I become invisible? And why did it hurt so much to realize that the girl I'd bet everything on might not bet back? As I pulled into our driveway, phone buzzing with a text from Mom. Proud of Lisa tonight. I felt the first real crack. Not anger yet, just a quiet sadness that whispered, "What if this is just the beginning?" Oh, if only I'd known how right that whisper was. Because the real storm was brewing, one betrayal at a time, waiting to pull us all under. You know that feeling when everything seems okay on the surface, but underneath, the ground is shifting. Like you're walking on a bridge that's starting to sway, and you tell yourself it's just the wind. That's how the next few years felt for me. After Lisa's graduation, life settled into this uneasy rhythm. I'd call her on birthdays, send care packages when I heard she was between gigs. Mom and Dad would forward her emails, proud updates about auditions, small roles and commercials. "Our girl's going places," Dad would say, clipping articles to the fridge. Me? I finished nursing school top of my class, landed a job at the community hospital. Long hours, low pay, but it was steady. I rented a tiny studio apartment across town. Nothing fancy, just a bed, a desk piled with bills, and a window that overlooked a parking lot. Every month, I'd carve out what I could for Lisa's loan payments. It's an investment in her future, I'd remind myself, staring at the balance that never seemed to shrink. And for a while it worked. She'd text thank yous, heart emojis, even wired me $100 once after a freelance gig. "You're the best, sis. More coming soon." But then the silences stretched longer. Weeks turned to months without a word. I'd see her on Instagram, new city, new boyfriend, new life, luxury brunches, designer bags that screamed money I couldn't imagine. How? I'd wonder, scrolling late at night, my scrubs still on from a 12-hour shift. A voice in my head would pipe up, "Ask her. She's family." But pride, or maybe fear, kept me quiet. What if she laughed? What if she said, "Elena, that was ages ago. Move on." The family meetings became my lifeline. Every few months we'd gather, holidays, birthdays, and pretend everything was fine. Mom would fuss over the table, Dad cracking dad jokes to fill the gaps. Lisa would breeze in, full of stories that made us all lean forward. "You won't believe this audition. Steven Spielberg's team was there." We'd laugh, applaud, and for those hours it felt like old times. But I'd catch her eyes sliding past me, like I was just another face in the crowd. One Christmas, things tipped a little closer to the edge. I saved for weeks to buy gifts, thoughtful ones, like a custom necklace for Mom engraved with our initials, a tool set for Dad. For Lisa, I splurged on a leather journal, the kind she'd always wanted for her ideas. She opened it with a polite smile. "Cute. Thanks." Then she pulled out her own haul, a sleek laptop from her agent, earrings that sparkled like stars. Mom gasped, hugging her tight. "How on earth, honey? That's incredible." Lisa shrugged, all casual. "Networking, Mom. You know how it is." But later, when I helped her with her coat, I whispered, "Everything okay? You seem distant." She paused, then forced a grin. "I'm good, Elena. Just busy building my empire. You should try it sometime, instead of playing nurse to the world." Her words stung, but I swallowed them. Laughed it off in front of the family. That night, as snow fell softly outside, I lay awake in my old bedroom, the one I still crashed in during visits. The journal sat on the nightstand, untouched, and for the first time doubt crept in like fog. Had I been fooling myself all along? Was this sisterhood just a one-way street? Fast forward a year, and the cracks widened. I got promoted at work, head nurse in the ER. It meant more responsibility, more stress, but a tiny bump in pay. I celebrated alone with takeout pizza, toasting with a soda to better days. Then a call from Mom, "Lisa's engaged." "To that producer guy, Mark. Wedding's next summer, won't it be beautiful?" Joy for her, right? That's what I felt, or tried to. Congratulated her over a rushed FaceTime, where she gushed about the venue, the dress. It's going to be magical, Elena. You have to come. I promised I would, even as my bank account whispered otherwise. The loans for her school, still hanging over me like a dark cloud, interest piling up. I'd refinanced twice, cut corners on groceries to keep up. But hey, family. Then came the ask. Not directly from her, of course, through Mom. Lisa mentioned the wedding might need a little help with deposits. Nothing big, just a loan from you, Elena. You're so good with money. My heart sank. Mom, I'm stretched thin. But her voice turned pleading. For your sister? Come on, she'll pay you back. She's on the cusp of something huge. I caved. Of course I did. Wired the money that week. 5 grand, scraped from savings and overtime. Lisa texted, You're a lifesaver. Love you forever. Forever. That word echoed in my mind as I stared at my empty wallet. But forever has a funny way of shrinking when convenience calls, and that's when the first real lie surfaced. Not a big one, not yet. Just a whisper of doubt that grew into a roar. A mutual friend messaged me, a photo from Lisa's bachelorette weekend. Yacht party, champagne toasts. Caption, living the dream. Hashtag spoiled by love. But in the background, my necklace, the one I'd given Mom, on Lisa's neck. She'd borrowed it, I guessed, or taken it. No big deal, right? Except when I asked, weeks later, she claimed, Oh, must have left it at home. Weird. Yeah, that was the word for it. And as our next family video call rolled around, with Lisa dazzling everyone about her latest breakthrough, I started paying closer attention. The gloss, the ease, the way she danced around questions about money. Something wasn't adding up. Little did I know, the math on her success was built on a foundation of sand, and my name was etched right into the blueprints. But hold on, because the family meeting where it all boiled over, that was coming soon. And my reply. It wasn't just words. It was the key that unlocked doors I never knew existed. Doors to truths that would shake us to our core. Betrayal doesn't always come with thunder and lightning. Sometimes it's a slow drip, a leak you ignore until the whole house floods. That's how it hit me with Lisa. After that Christmas, I started noticing the patterns. The way she'd dodge money talk, pivot to her big breaks, the luxury trips popping up on her feed, tagged with high-end brands. I told myself it was paranoia, jealousy talking. But deep down that big sister instinct, the one that once changed her diapers and chased away nightmares, it was screaming. I began digging. Quietly at first, just casual questions to Mom. How's Lisa funding all this? That engagement ring looks pricey. Mom waved it off. Oh, Mark's loaded. And Lisa's smart. Side hustles, you know. Side hustles. Right. Then Dad let slip over coffee one day. Your sister's in some real estate thing now. Flipping properties or whatever the kids do. Real estate? Last I'd heard she was temping as a receptionist. Curiosity turned to concern. I created a burner email. Nothing crazy, just to poke around. Searched her name with investments, business. At first, nothing. Then a hit, a small article in a local business blog. Up-and-coming entrepreneur Lisa Grant Partners with family for starter venture. Grant? That's my last name. Our last name. And there, in grainy photo, Lisa shaking hands with a suit at a closing table. The date. 6 months after I'd co-signed her loans. My stomach twisted. I called her that night, heart hammering. Lisa, saw something online. Real estate? That's awesome. Tell me more. She laughed, breezy as ever. Oh yeah, tiny flip house. Nothing major. Borrowed a bit from savings. Savings, the word echoed hollow. But I pressed gently. Need any help? I know a thing or two about loans now. Silence on the line then. We're good, Elena. Really, don't worry your pretty head. Don't worry. Those words haunted me as I hung up, staring at my laptop screen. Pretty head? Like I was the little sister, the naive one. That's when I went deeper. Hired a cheap online service, nothing illegal, just public records search. Cost me a weekend's tips, but worth it. What came back? Pages of documents that turned my world upside down. Turns out, that starter venture wasn't so tiny. Lisa had used my co-signature, not just for school, but leveraged it, pulled equity from a home loan in my name, flipped it into down payments on properties. My credit, my history twisted into her ladder, and the luxury apartment, bought under a shell LLC, but the mortgage trace led straight back to a joint account. One I'd never authorized. She'd forged addendums, sweet-talked a notary who must have misremembered. $5,000 for the wedding? Pocketed? Side hustles? My overtime checks? Rerouted through apps I didn't know she'd accessed. I sat there in my dim apartment, papers scattered like fallen leaves, tears hot on my cheeks. Shock first, numb, disbelieving. How could she? My Lisa, the girl I'd bandaged knees for, cheered at recitals. Then sadness crashed in, heavy as lead. We'd built dreams together, and she'd dismantled mine brick by brick. Anger simmered last, slow and fierce. Not the explosive kind. No, this was calculated, the type that forges steel. I confronted her the next day. Text first, we need to talk. Now? She showed up at my door an hour later, all wide eyes and perfume. What's wrong, Elena? You sounded weird. I shoved the printouts at her, voice steady despite the quake inside. Explain this. All of it. Her face crumpled, then hardened. It's not what you think. I was going to tell you I needed a boost. You were always so stable. I figured you'd understand. Understand? I laughed. Bitter. You used me, Lisa. Forged my name, drained accounts. That's not a boost, that's theft. She reached for my arm, pleading. Please, sis. Family doesn't do this. I'll pay you back. Mark's got connections. Family. There it was, the weapon she wielded best. But this time, it didn't land. Family trusts, I whispered. You broke that. She left in tears, promising to fix it. But I knew better. The calls stopped. Mom's updates dried up. And when the family meeting rolled around, the one with the luxury apartment bombshell, I walked in armoured, ready. Mom's announcement hit like I knew it would. Lisa's smug glow, Dad's claps. My reply? Simple, but laced with fire. Congrats, Lisa. Must be nice to build your castle on someone else's foundation. The room froze. Mom blinked. Elena, what on earth? Lisa paled, stammering. But I held her gaze. Ask her about the loans, Mom. The ones in my name. Chaos erupted. Questions flying. Lisa denying. Me silent with the proof burning in my pocket. Dad's face fell. Mom's hand to her mouth. And in that moment, the betrayal wasn't just hers anymore. It was ours. All of us. For turning blind eyes. But as Lisa stormed out, hurling, you're ruining everything, I felt a spark ignite. Not destruction. Justice. The kind that rebuilds from the ruins. What came next? Oh, it was a plan born in the quiet hours, meticulous as a surgeon's cut. Because if she wanted to play empire builder, I'd show her what real foundations look like. Ones that can't be forged or faked. There's a moment after the fall when you hit bottom, and instead of breaking, you start building. That's where I was after the meeting, curled on my couch, the echo of slammed doors still ringing in my ears. Mom had called twice, voice shaky. Elena, is it true? Talk to me. Dad texted, need to sort this kiddo. Lisa? Radio silence, blocked on every app. Good. Let her stew. But stewing wasn't for me. Not anymore. I poured a cup of chamomile, calm for the chaos, and spread the documents across the coffee table like a war map. Pages of ledgers, signatures that weren't mine, bank statements bleeding red. It wasn't just money, it was trust, shredded. Hours ticked by as I pieced it together, how she'd started small, a co-signed credit line for emergencies, funneled into crypto bets that paid off. Then bolder, forging my info for a business loan, flipping a condo she inherited from a distant aunt, news to me, the luxury apartment, the crown jewel, bought with profits laundered through Mark's production company. Anger fueled me now, but smarter, channeled into steps. First call my bank. Froze everything joint, reported the fraud. The rep's voice was kind, professional. We'll investigate, Miss Grant. This could take weeks. Weeks? I didn't have weeks. Lisa was out there, spinning tales, probably charming Mom with half-truths. Next, a lawyer. Not some fancy firm. Affordable, through the hospital's employee assistance. Sarah, mid-40s, sharp as a tack. Over coffee in her cluttered office, I spilled it all. This is identity theft, Elena, she said, eyes narrowing. Civil and possibly criminal. We can sue for restitution, freeze assets. Sue? The word felt heavy, final. What about family? Does that change things? She shook her head. Not legally, but emotionally. That's your call. I nodded, throat tight. Emotionally, it was war. But a clean one. No mudslinging in court if I could help it. I wanted her to feel the weight, not just pay a fine. That's when the idea sparked, exposure. Not public shaming. No, that'd drag Mom and Dad through the mud. Targeted. Make her empire crumble from within. Sarah suggested a demand letter first. Formal, outlining the debts, demanding repayment in 30 days or escalation. I drafted it that night. Fingers flying. Lisa, this ends. Full restitution. Or the truth goes to those who matter most. Your investors, your fiancé, your world. But letters are paper tigers. I needed teeth. So I reached out. Old contacts from nursing school. A guy in finance who'd owed me a favour. Hey, Tom. Hypothetical. Tracing shell companies. Any tips? He laughed. Hypothetical, huh? Look into public filings, Elena. And if it's personal, get a PI, private investigator. $50 an hour, worth every penny. Met him at a diner, gruff ex-cop named Ray. Over greasy eggs, I handed him the file. Find the threads. Quietly. Ray nodded, scribbling notes. Give me 2 weeks. I'll map her web, who she's in bed with, financially speaking. Bed. The word stuck. Mark, her fiancé, producer type, all flash. A quick social stalk showed red flags, flashy cars, vague projects. Was he in on it? Or just another pawn? While Ray worked, I fortified my own life. Updated passwords, credit freezes, a new savings account, just mine. At work, I threw myself into shifts. The ER's rhythm a balm. Saving lives grounded me, reminded me who I was, not a victim, but a fighter. Colleagues noticed the change. Elena, you seem lighter, my friend Mia said, bandaging a kid's scraped knee beside me. I smiled, real this time. Just clearing some clutter. Clutter. Yeah, that's what Lisa had become. But as days blurred, doubts whispered, what if Mom sides with her? What if Dad calls me ungrateful? Family ties are vines. They choke if you let them. I pushed back with small wins, a yoga class after work, breathing through the rage. Journaling at night, not the pretty kind, but raw, pages of why her, turning to why not me. Then Ray's first report landed, email with attachments, timelines neat as a chart. Lisa's flips weren't luck, they were schemes. Baiting small investors with my stable credit as collateral, then ghosting when payments lagged. Mark? Complicit, signing off on LLCs that hid the mess. The apartment? Pledged against a loan from elderly friends of the family, people who trusted her sparkle. I stared at the screen, relief mixing with sorrow. Proof. Solid, irrefutable. The demand letter went out certified mail, copy to Sarah. Lisa's response? A frantic voicemail. Elena, you're killing me. This is blackmail. Family doesn't do this. Blackmail, pot, kettle. I didn't call back. Instead, I planned phase 2, the allies, not revenge buddies, justice ones. A quiet word to Mom, facts only, no accusations. Read this, then decide. Her call came at dawn, tears, apologies. I had no idea, honey. How could I be so blind? Healing started there, small, tentative. Dad followed, gruff but supportive. We'll make it right. And Lisa? Crickets. Until the 30 days ticked down and her world began to wobble. But the real plan? It was bigger. Not just payback, reclamation. I'd take back what was mine piece by piece. And when the climax hit, it wouldn't be screams or scenes. It'd be silence, the kind that echoes louder than any shout. The silence of truths laid bare, empires toppled by their own weight. Little did Lisa know, her luxury perch was about to get a whole lot less comfortable. And my reply at that meeting, it was just the opening act. Planning revenge isn't about hate, it's about balance, about tipping scales that have been crooked too long. After Mom's call, a weight lifted, but not all. Lisa's silence screamed volumes, panic, plotting, pleading with Mark. I could picture her in that marble kitchen dream, pacing phone in hand. Good. Let her taste uncertainty. Sarah and I met again, her office smelling of fresh coffee and resolve. Demands out, she said, sliding timelines across the desk. Next, asset freeze motion. If she doesn't respond, we file. I nodded, but my mind was already layers ahead. Court was backup, slow, public. I wanted swift, surgical. Ray's intel was gold, names, numbers, networks. Lisa's investors, widows from church, retirees Dad knew. Good people, lured by her charm and my unwitting guarantee. Step 1, outreach. Not accusations. Education. I drafted letters, soft but firm, dear Mrs. Hargrove. I believe there's been a misunderstanding with a shared investment. Enclosed redacted proofs, offered meetings. Ray tailed the sends, reported back, jaws dropping, calls to lawyers. One by one they pulled funding, quietly, like threads unravelling a sweater. Lisa's first flip property, foreclosure whispers started. Step 2, the inner circle. Mark. I didn't confront, too messy. Instead, anonymous tip to his production company's compliance line. Irregularities in partner finances. Check LLC filings. Attached snippets. Just enough to spark audits. Ray confirmed. Meetings called. Mark sweating in suits. Lisa posted less. Stories of relaxing weekends, but the glow dimmed. Filters couldn't hide the strain. At home, I rebuilt. Mum and Dad came over. Awkward hugs, then talks. We should have seen, Dad admitted, eyes misty. Mom squeezed my hand. You're the rock, Elena. Always were. We cried, laughed, planned a real family dinner. No announcements, just us. Healing hurt, but it mended. Work became my anchor. Promoted again, charge nurse, leading teams through crises. You're unstoppable, Mia said, high-fiving after a tough shift. Unstoppable? Yeah. I started a side gig too. Financial coaching for nurses, sharing tips on loans, credit. Ironic, right? But empowering. Clients thanked me. You saved me from a mistake. Saved. Echoes of my own salvation. Ray's updates fueled the fire. Lisa scrambling, listing the apartment for upgrades. Upgrades? Try desperation. Investors bailing, Mark distancing. Rumours of cold feet. I held back, no gloating. This was justice, not joy. but curiosity burned. How far would she fall? Then, the pivot. A call from an unexpected ally, Aunt Clara, Dad's sister, one of the retirees. "Elena, dear, that letter opened my eyes," Lisa called, begging. "Said you're jealous, but I know better. We met for tea, silver hair, sharp wit. What now?" she asked. I smiled, first real one in months. Now. We offer a way out, grace with strings. The offer, full repayment plan, supervised by a neutral accountant. Apartment sold to cover bulk, remainder in installments. No charges, if complied. Aunt Clara drafted the terms, her lawyer polish gleaming. Sent via Sarah, deadline tight. Lisa's response, a novel of a text. "Please, blame-shifting." Mark pushed me, then surrender. Fine, meeting. We met neutral ground, a quiet cafe, rain pattering windows. She looked smaller, makeup cracking. "Elena, I messed up. Bad, no tears yet." I slid the agreement over. "Sign. Mean it, or it all unravels." Her hand shook, pen hovering. "Why not just sue, ruin me?" I met her eyes, saw the girl from the porch swings. "Because you're still my sister." "But trust, that's earned back." She signed. Hugged me awkward, whispering sorry. I didn't hug back, not yet. As she left, umbrella blooming in the downpour, I exhaled. Blueprint holding, but blueprints shift. Climaxes wait for no one. And Lisa's? It was barreling down, faster than either of us expected. What happened next would test every line I'd drawn. Forgiveness? Or final stand? The answer came sooner than I thought, in a storm of revelations that left us all breathless. You think you've mapped the storm, but sometimes it veers, hits harder than planned. That's what the weeks after the cafe felt like. Lisa signed the papers, started payments, meagre at first, but steady. Mom mediated calls, tentative bridges rebuilding. "She's trying, Elena," Mom urged. I wanted to believe. Date nights with a new guy from work, kind eyes, steady job, reminded me life moved forward. Laughter crept back, tentative as spring, but Ray called late one night, heads up, movement. Lisa's apartment listed officially, open houses buzzing, good sign. Then, Mark's filing paperwork, dissolution of partnership, divorce? My heart twisted, not triumph, pity. Pity for the girl who'd chosen shortcuts over soul. I scrolled her feed, cryptic posts, changes coming, grateful for real ones. Likes from strangers, silence from family. Family. That's where the clouds darkened. Dad's birthday loomed, a big one, 65. Tradition, dinner at the club, toasts and cake. Invites went out, Lisa RSVP'd yes. Tension hummed like live wire. Mom fretted, "Be kind, girls." For him, I agreed, but guarded. The night arrived crisp, autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Dad beaming in his tie, Mom elegant in pearls. Lisa entered last. Thinner, eyes shadowed, but chin up. Hugs exchanged, stiff but done. Dinner flowed okay. Stories, laughs, then toasts. Dad's, to family, flaws and all. Mine, simple, to new starts. Lisa's turn. She stood, glass raised, voice clear, to Elena, for teaching me what strength looks like. Gasps, clinks. Mom teared up. I nodded, throat full. Progress. After cake, balcony whispers. Lisa pulled me aside, wind tugging her scarf. The apartment sells next week. Check's yours. First installment. Relief washed over. Thank you, I said. Genuine. She hesitated. Then there's more. Mark, he knew, pushed the schemes. When it blew, he blamed me. Took off with the company car, accounts drained. Her voice cracked. I lost everything, Elena. Job, friends. Even Aunt Clara won't return calls. I searched her face. Regret real, raw. You chose that path, I said softly. but doors open both ways. She nodded, wiping eyes. Can we try sisters again? The word hung, fragile. I squeezed her hand. One day at a time. But storms don't consult scripts. As we rejoined the party, my phone buzzed. Ray, urgent. Call now. Slip to the car, heart racing. What? His voice grim. Your sister's dipping again. New LLC yesterday. Using the apartment sale proceeds? Investors? Same old marks. Betrayal's echo, fresh wound. I drove home numb, Lisa's hug souring. How? Why? The blueprint cracked, Grace tested. Sleep evaded, dawn brought decision. No more half measures. Climax called. Not destruction, but demolition of lies. I'd confront, not accuse. Gather the threads, pull tight. Next morning, called a meeting. Neutral, all players. Mom, Dad, Lisa, Sarah, even Aunt Clara. Coffee shop, round table. Truth time, I announced, stacking files. Lisa arrived last, paling at the spread. Elena, what's... I cut in. Your new LLC. Explain. Denials flew, then crumbled under proofs. Mom gasped. Dad's silent fury. Lisa sobbed. I panicked. Mark cleaned me out. I needed a cushion. On others' backs. Aunt Clara's voice steel. No more, girl. The room spun. Accusations, please. My reply. Calm anchor. Choices have costs. Pay them or pay more. She broke then. Full confession. Details spilling like flood. Mark's coercion. Her complicity. The web's full tangle. We dismantled it there. Assets frozen by Sarah's motion. Repayments restructured ironclad. Lisa agreed. Therapy, job hunt, no shortcuts. As she left, shoulders slumped, I felt empty, victory, or just exhaustion. But the real climax? It waited outside, in the parking lot rain. A figure under streetlight. Mark, slick as ever. Elena, right? We need to talk. Talk. No. Reckoning. Rain hammered the pavement like accusations unspoken, turning the parking lot into a mirror of my turmoil. Mark stood there, collar up, cigarette glowing defiant. Water beaded on his leather jacket, but his eyes, cold, calculating. Get in, he said, nodding to his sleek SUV. No please, no warmth, just command. I hesitated, phone in pocket, Ray on speed dial. But this was mine. Slid into the passenger seat, leather creaking wet. Engine purred to life, wipers slashing rhythm. Drive, I said. He did, city lights blurring past. Silence thick, then his opener. Lisa's a mess. Told me everything. You're destroying her. Destroying. I turned, rain-streaked window framing my reflection, tired but unbowed. She destroyed herself, Mark. With your help, he smirked, merging onto the highway. Help? I gave her wings. You? You're clipping them. Jealous much? Jealousy, the oldest dodge. I laughed, low. Of marble counters built on fraud. No. But of the man who preys on dreams? Yeah, that's worth a chat. He gripped the wheel tighter, story spilling, how he'd spotted Lisa at an audition. Raw talent, eager, reeled her in with promises. Schemes followed, his production's fronts for flips, her face the lure. My name? Collateral, stable. She said you'd never know. The gall burned. You used my sister, I pressed, twisted her into your puppet. He shrugged. She chose. Adults do, adults. But the web snared innocence, Aunt Clara's savings, church friends' nests, and when it frayed, you cut lines, left her sinking. His eyes flicked. Guilt? Or cornered? Business, Elena. Risks. My voice hardened. Risks have names, faces. You gambled theirs. We pulled over. Scenic overlook. City sprawling below like fallen stars. Rain eased to mist. I pulled the file, Ray's masterpiece plus Sarah's filings. Read. All of it. He scanned, colour draining, audits pending, liens filed, names circling back to him. This? Bluff. I shook head. Truth. Your company's next. Board knows. Panic flickered. What do you want? Money? Want? Justice hummed. Confession. Full. To them, the ones you robbed. And Lisa. Clean break. He laughed bitter. Hero complex. Fine deal, but walk away. She's not worth it. Not worth? Rage flared, pure. She's my blood. You? You're done. I stepped out, door slamming echo. Sign the waiver, immunity for you. If you flip on the bigger fish. Bigger fish. Partners Ray uncovered, sharks in suits. He called after Elena. Wait! But I walked, rain washing clean. Phone buzzed. Mom, safe? Text back, safer. Climax peaked, not in shouts, but surrender. Mark's email hit inbox by midnight. Signed, detailed, his role, enablers named. Forwarded to authorities, anonymous tip line humming. Back home, towel dried, tea steaming, peace settled. Lisa texted, heard from Mark. It's over, for real. Over, I replied. Start fresh. We both will. No hearts but hope. The fallout rippled. Charges dropped for cooperation. Repayments flowing. Lisa moved in with Mom. Humbled. Healing. Me. Thrived. New relationship bloomed. Work soared. Family dinners. Genuine now. Scars badges. But that face-off. It wasn't just his defeat. It was mine. Victory overshadows. Sunrises have a way of rewriting nights. After Mark's confession, the world felt lighter. Not fixed. Scars linger, but possible. Lisa's apartment sold quick. Buyers drawn to the view, blind to the backstory. Check cleared, debts wiped, cushion for me. First splurge? A weekend getaway, just Mom and me. Beach walks, waves whispering forgiveness. I'm proud of you, she said, linking arms. For fighting fair, Lisa and I? Slow thaw. Coffee meetups, awkward at first, stories swapped, no gloss. She started therapy, waitressing clean. It's grounding, she'd say. Real. Mark vanished. New city, new schemes, karma's shadow trailing. Investors recovered, Aunt Clara toasting to sharp eyes. Dad fixed the swing set. Symbolic, swings creaking with new laughter. My life? Blossomed. Promoted to supervisor. Team thriving under steady hand. The guy, Alex, turned keeper, picnics. Stargazing, talks deep. You're fierce, he'd say, tracing my palm. Fierce. I owned it. Family meeting redux, months later, cozy, no announcements. Mom's news, book club pick, sisters' stories. Laughter rippled. Lisa raised glass to us, flawed but fierce. Echoes of mine. I clinked to truths. No luxury tales, just real. Bills paid, dreams earned. Resolution isn't tidy bows. It's threads rewoven, stronger for phrase. Lisa and I. Sisters still, wary wise. Betrayal's lesson etched, trust guarded, not blind. And me, standing taller, voice sure. That rainy meeting reply, sparked a flame. Burned clean. Looking back, that family meeting wasn't the end. It was the doorway. From hook of hurt to justice's quiet roar, the path twisted, tested. Betrayal stings deepest from kin, but revenge. True kind heals, doesn't harm. It exposes, evens, empowers. Lesson whispers, build on rock, not sand. Guard your name, but offer grace. Family's mosaic, beautiful cracked. Mend with truth, watch it shine. If you're watching, caught in shadows, speak, plan, rise your reply. It changes everything, like subscribe, comment, tell us your story below. More tales coming soon.